Hello and welcome to Arsenal Domination, where Victor Gyokeres continues to dominate discussion around Arsenal. And I just want to look at the narrative that is sort of building around whether this is a Berta signing or an Arteta signing, and explore what I believe the truth to be about this signing. Now, Victor Gyokeres and Benjamin Sesko were clearly the two primary number 9 targets, and number 9 being one of, if not the absolute priority for Arsenal this summer. And it always looked like Arsenal were going to do everything they could to land this deal, and indeed it looked like they're going to be successful. Now, it's been reported that Mikel Arteta, the manager's preference was for Benjamin Sesko, whereas new director of football Andrea Berta had a preference for Victor Gyokeres. And I've no reason to doubt that. You know, very reputable journalists have sort of reported that that is where the preferences lie. But I think it's a really, really simplistic take on this. And I think the signing of Martin Zubimendi really sort of speaks a lot to where the truth lies here. And I will come back to that point in a minute. Arsenal's approach for number 9 was they recognised they needed number 9. They recognised they needed one of the primary number 9s on the market. And in their view, the sort of the most affordable and best options were the two aforementioned players from Leipzig and Sporting, Benjamin Sesko and Victor Gyokeres. They also knew that both players wanted to sign for Arsenal. That was their first choice club. And that gave them a lot of negotiation room. It gave them a lot of leverage in the negotiations to negotiate a better salary and a better sort of transfer fee. And I think you can sort of see that Arsenal's late pivot, for want of a better phrase, towards Victor Gyokeres was very much financially driven. Arsenal looked like they're going to save about 20 million euros, about 16, 17 million pounds on Sporting's original asking price, whereas Leipzig were unwilling to move. And that's what sort of has sort of tipped the balance here. But I think the reality is, back to the main point here about whether this is a Berta signing or an Arteta signing, the reality is it's both. Arsenal are not going to sign a player where both Berta and Arteta are against it. Both will need to be for a player. It doesn't mean it's their first choice, but both will want to make sure that they are satisfied that this player sort of meets Arsenal's criteria for signing a player. And we saw this with Zubimendi. Obviously, this deal sort of predates Berta in many ways. It started with Edu, it went into Jason Ito and was, arguably uh, completed by Ito before, Berta officially sort of sits next to him for the signing. And what you saw there was Arsenal in agreement with Zubimendi, just as they have with Gyokeres, and then both parts have gone out to do the deal. The director of football has negotiated the deal, the best price possible. The manager has got involved by selling the dream, and both have come together to make the signing.